Hey guys, it's Ryan, and today we're going to take the Rode Wireless Go charging on the go. So let's take a look. So this is the guy. This is the little Pelican 1060 case that I converted into a on-the-go charging station for my Wireless Go setup. And the reason why I decided to do this is because I saw a video that Caleb Pike did over on DSLR Video Shooter, and I'll link the video in the description, but he went through 10 different hacks for the Rode Wireless Go. And one of them was putting them in a similar Pelican case and having them be kind of a remote ENG audio setup on the go. It had 2 wireless Go's in it, charging, and also had a recorder. I think it was an H1 in that one. But I'll link that video below so you guys can take a look. We'll get to this guy in just a minute, but first, if you are new here, go ahead and consider subscribing, turning on that bell. You'll get a notification every time we upload a new video. Also, we do a stream about once a week, and if you are so inclined on Twitter or Instagram, we also are over there at High Tech on Life. So check us out there, subscribe, all the good stuff. So let's just take a look at this. We actually have our transmitter here and our receiver here, and we've also got all of our accessories here, which are on top of this battery right under there. And we've got a couple of things. I just put a couple of memory cards right here, nothing huge. And then on the side here, you unscrew it and it's got a little charging port there for USB-C. And that runs to the charger, or that runs to the battery pack here. And then out of the battery pack, there's 2 USB ports, and I got USB-A to USB-C, and they run into both of those. So it's a pretty simple setup. The best part about this is you can just close it up, and now you're on the go. So I ended up going down to my garage and putting this thing together, so let's take a look on how I did that. So let's see how we can make this same setup with just these few items here on the table. So what we're going to be putting it in is a Pelican 1060, which is a waterproof case, and it has just enough room for the battery pack and for the Wireless Go transmitter and receiver. So the first thing we need to do is pull out the foam, and then we're going to also pull out this liner on the inside, the rubberized liner that helps with the waterproofing. And here is, this is just a cheap $25 power bank and a couple of right angle connectors. So we have USB-A to USB-C. And these are going to plug in. There's 2 USB-A connections at the end of this power bank, and we're going to connect those in, and those are going to go over to our Wireless Go transmitter and receiver. This next cable is going to be the power input, and as you can see, it's got a pass-through on it, and it can be screwed down on the outside of the case. So we're going to first go through and make sure everything fits properly. We've got the cables set up, and then also the 2 packs as well with that. And all the cables are going to live underneath the foam so you don't see them. Now this is the pass-through cable that has a USB-C female on it. As you can see, it comes apart. It also has this little rubber grommet to help with waterproofing. Now, would I say it's completely waterproof? No, but it's got to be somewhat water resistant, right? So we're going to trace out the hole with a Sharpie to make sure that we have the proper dimension for that pass-through to go through. And I decided to come out the side because it seemed like that was a good place to plug in when you set it down. I tried going out the back, but it ended up being a little cumbersome with where the cables needed to go. And unfortunately for this, I didn't have a step bit. I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately, because one of the sides on this connector, this pass-through connector, is flat, so you can keep it in one direction. So I just did my normal drill bits and stepped them up a little bit until I was able to get the dimension I want. So we ended up going to, I think, a 1/2 inch bit to get close to the dimensions. So we were able to drill it out pretty easily. This is fairly thin plastic, so it wasn't necessarily that difficult. And because it had that interesting shape, the flat side on this pass-through connector, I decided to use a file and go in and really get that shape done proper so it'll fit through. And we finally got it to the dimension we needed it to be, test fitted out, and then I went through with some sandpaper, wrapped around the end of that file to smooth off all the edges, make sure everything is good before we actually install this pass-through. And as you can see, it worked out really well. I was very happy with how it ended up coming together. Now we need to take this, and this will be, it's a little off, but it's not bad. But we'll take that and throw this liner in. I ended up cutting a little hole in that liner, and we'll also put this rubber grommet on the end of this before we install it. And hopefully it'll retain a little bit of its water resistance. It's probably not completely waterproof because you do have that port exposed. Even though it does have a cover on it, I probably wouldn't throw it in water, but anything we can do to make sure that it retains at least a little bit of its water resistancy. And yes, I had to use a wrench to get this on because I wanted to make sure it was on there good and tight and that it had enough room to screw this cap on. And there we have it. So I won't bore you with all the details of actually cutting out all this foam and creating it, but it took a lot of test fitting and cutting and recutting and, tracing out lines and making sure everything fit in there properly. And I ended up using hot glue on this because I wanted something that would keep that USB-C connector upright. And that's what this ended up doing, is I'd lay down a base of glue and then glue the crap out of it to make sure that it stayed where it needed to go. And then I'd put the actual transmitter or receiver on there to make sure that it stayed in place. And it ended up working out really well. I'm really happy with the results. I probably could have lined them up a little bit better, but for a first try, this was perfect. So this was the final fitting of everything. We've got the cables underneath kind of wrapped up, and we were doing a little bit of extra finagling to get everything in there, but everything ended up fitting: the battery pack, the transmitter, the receiver, and now you truly have a Rode Wireless Go charging on the go. So I just want to say this was a really fun project to put together. If you want to do this, I'll leave links for all the things that I used down in the description below, and feel free to do this for as many of these as you want. If you get a little bit bigger case, you can probably fit a couple of Wireless Go systems in there. So again, I'll put everything down below. Those are affiliated links, so if you do purchase through those, I get a little bit of a kickback at no extra cost to you. So win-win, right? So thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed yet, go ahead and consider subscribing and turning on that bell. We are also over on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow us there at HighTechOnLife. And we've also started something new that I want to explain, and hopefully I can get some feedback from you guys about this. There's a lot of creators out there who do Patreon pages and that kind of thing. And we just got over 1,100 subscribers. So I thought, let's do something like that, but not in the normal way, because Patreon has this weird stigma to it, like I'm begging for money. So what I decided to do is, instead of earning money from Patreon, I'm creating what I'm calling an equipment fund, or a gear fund. And I create this so that if you want to donate, and it's a donate what you want. So you can do like $1 if you want a month. It's cool, because what you can do is donate whatever you want a month, and then that goes into an equipment fund. And then I'll buy the equipment, review it, and then I'll give it to one of the Patreons who have donated money. So you have a chance going in to actually get some free gear. So a couple bucks a month, and please do not donate any money unless you have extra expendable income, okay? I don't want you to donate the money for milk and bread. I want you to have a couple extra bucks lying around that you want to so generously give and put into our equipment fund, the High Tech on Life equipment fund, and that gets you the ability to earn new gear, or earn free gear, I should say. So we'll buy something, we'll review it, we'll kind of go through the learning process of the gear together here on YouTube, and then at the end of that process, I'll just go ahead and randomly select someone who is a Patreon, and then we'll give that gear away for free. So if you want to do that, if you want to help in that fund, the link is down below to that Patreon page. Well, that will about do it, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got something out of this, and that you can go create something like that, charging on the go, all on your own. So hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.